So we looked in the last podcast about how to make the most of your appearance, maybe asking a trusted friend if there are any changes you need to make. So now you've decided that your appearance is just about right, you may need to look at your attitude, which can be where the answer lies as to why you spend night after night, week after week on your own. Appearing aloof and disinterested when you meet new people is only part of the problem. Ladies, if you reject every man on the horizon for one reason or another, maybe because he's too short, too fat, too bald, too ginger, you may as well start planning now for a long retirement. Alone. Think of it this way. If your hopes of meeting Mr. Right form a circle of potential matches around you, suppose on day one there are 100 men in that circle, you lucky girl. Now, if you remove from your circle of possible matches every man below 6 foot tall, there may only be 40 men left. Then, if you remove from that circle every man with a beard, moustache, or ginger hair, there may only be 25 men remaining. If you go on to take away every man who's overweight or of a different skin colour, there will probably be only 10 men left. Of course, some of those will be divorced with children, and this is definitely not what you signed up for. Suppose there are now only 5 men remaining in your circle. Well, guess what those men have been doing while you have been refining your choices? They have been doing exactly the same thing. Removing from their circle of possible matches any lady who's not size 12, not single, or 10 years younger than them, too tall, or divorced with children. While we're on the subject of size, men would do well to remember that there are hundreds of ladies of average build who do not fit into a size 12. And you cannot afford to rule out over half of the population of the whole country, can you? Now, you need to consider that you will only get a possible relationship if the hopes and expectations remaining in each of those circles of possibilities can overlap somehow. And remember, we haven't even covered topics such as distance, or whether the lady or man in question is an animal lover. Please don't get me started on the subject of animals. If all the criteria matches on the person in question and he's a dog lover, just as you are, did you ever stop to think that, as well as covering all the critical points already mentioned, now his dog has to get on with your dog? Given such picky behaviour, it's a miracle that anyone gets married. So resolve not to let that kind of obsessive choosiness rule out the compassionate guy who will make a great dad, or the home-loving girl who will love and support you faithfully throughout a long and happy marriage, if only you can spare the time to get to know her better. Are you ready to hear about one of our success stories who did give us permission to quote all their details? Leslie was an attractive and youthful-looking 50-year-old when she contacted us. She felt prompted to join after seeing an advert when she was staying in Canada for our dating agency based in her hometown of Rossendale, Lancashire. Her previous marriage had ended in a traumatic divorce. She worked as a very successful sales manager for the largest steel company in the UK. Her ex-husband was never enthusiastic about her Christian faith. After the divorce, her children had readjusted and she felt it was the right time to move on with her life and meet someone new. Signing up with our dating agency was the best thing she ever did, so she said. Within a month of joining, she was introduced to this guy who was also divorced. He was a professional engineer with an interest in computers and the internet. Although he was only 43, and remember she was 50, he was one of those exceptional men who recognise that there are lots of attractive ladies over 45, and he was open-minded enough to meet a lady older than himself. In fact, Leslie's outgoing and enthusiastic personality complemented his quieter nature, and they soon married after a whirlwind romance. Leslie now says that he has been an ideal stepfather for her teenage son. Soon after their marriage, they began to run a Christian kind of home group together, based on the cell principle in their church fellowship. However, since that time, God has taken them on a very exciting journey to pastures new, and they have planted a new church in Fuerteventura, one of the Canary Islands. If you visit the area of Coralejo, look out for the advertising board for the Lighthouse Christian Fellowship, Pharos, each Sunday morning. You'll be sure to receive a warm welcome, especially if you mention our name. They have now been married 25 years. We go out and see them, try to get once a year. We go to their church, which is thriving. And we're excited to say that they trusted us, they trusted God, they met, they were open-minded, and they've had a quarter century of happiness. We're hoping for the same for you.